everyone, my name is Rick Passek with FlyFish Fanatic, and welcome to my tying bench. Today we'll be tying a mid-season chironomid. I really like this pattern mid-season. I haven't done great with it in spring. I've done okay with it in the fall, but mid-season this thing has been a killer for me. I call it my Limey. So I'll show you what it is. So that is the pattern we're going to tie. Okay. Now I tie it in two different versions. I tie it in this version, which is green on green with the green head, green body, and a darker green flash. And then I'm going to the one I'm going to tie today is almost the same, but it's got a red tinsel rib instead of the green. Okay. So to start, we've got a Hook-Hends BL599 in a size 12. I'll tie these in a 12, 14, and a 16. 12, 14 seems to be the go-to sizes for me. I will take a 1/8. You can use tungsten if you want. This is just a 1/8 green glass bead. And I'll just slip it onto the hook. Put my hook into the vise. I'll make sure that we are focused, which we are not at this moment. Let's see. There we go. That's a bit better. So I leave the bead back like that. I start with some Semperfli NanoSilk and a 12-aught. Doesn't really matter what color, but might as well go with the green theme. And the reason I start with this is because it's quite a bit thinner than the material, the classic wax that I'll be using for the body. But I want to be able to tie on my, okay, where did I put it? My gills. I have to cut a new piece. Yeah, maybe I do. So, I thought I had some left over, but it doesn't look like it. Actually, I'm going to turn on my light so I can actually see. Had it turned off for you guys so you didn't get blinded on the intro. Okay, so I just cut a piece off of some poly yarn, and then I'm just going to split it because I don't want the whole thing. That's all I want, roughly. Okay, so just going to take that. I'm going to even up the end here. Doesn't really matter. I leave it quite a bit longer, and I'm just going to attach it on the top. Doesn't want to cooperate there on me. Sometimes just giving it a little bit of a lick helps. It keeps it from being ornery. So I'm just going to come right forward to the, give that a counterclock spin, right to the eye. I'm going to come right to the eye, so that's pretty good there. Don't worry about what it looks like, it's not a huge deal. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut it off on a bit of a taper. Okay, you see how there's a bit of a taper there? Now I'm just going to come back over this, spin my thread again. I want to make sure this is flat as I tie this down. Give it a bit of a step here so the bead can slide on easily. Like I said, all these little frayed pieces, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Then just do a real quick finish. We're done with this thread. You can glue that if you want to. I never do. Then slide your bead forward all the way. Take your classic wax thread. So this is in the fluorescent green. I think that's what they call it. Yep, Floro green. Just start it right behind the head. Right behind the bead, sorry. And just touching wraps. You gotta really watch these hens hooks too because they are razor sharp. So you gotta be careful with your thread. It's not as picky if you're using the NanoSilk because the NanoSilk is quite a bit stronger. But this stuff here is as strong as any other thread on the market. But it will break if you tag that tip, that hook point too often. So just touching wraps back, touching wraps forward. Now I'm going to take a single strand of This is just your flasher glue hollow tinsel. Okay, just a single strand, and tie it in. Just tie it in. Doesn't really matter where it sits, but I always try to get it either on the top or on my side. All the way back to my tie-in point where I stopped there, and I'll even go 1 or 2 wraps further. Then I'm gonna just spin that to flatten it a bit. All these threads, it doesn't matter what they are, they will. If you every turn you take, it puts in a spin, right? So if you flatten it out every once in a while, it definitely helps. Helps keep a cleaner body. So hopefully the sound's a bit better on this one. I've switched mics. My really expensive, nice Yeti just did not seem to like picking up my voice very well. It made it really muted, and I've been fighting it since I started doing these tying videos for you guys. So I'm just going to go back about 3/4 of the way and then back forward again. Just building up a little bit of a taper here. Come right to behind that bead again. So now I'm going to go counterclockwise. And I'm going to put 1 or 2 turns right at the butt. And then I will start my segmentations. Try to keep them fairly even. It doesn't matter too much at the front end here, because I will be putting a little bit more up here, so not too worried about those 2 that are too close to each other there. Nip that off. Then I'm going to take a little bit of this Arizona semi-seal and a peacock. I love this stuff. This is one of my favorite. And I'm taking just the slightest little piece. I mean, that's probably even going to be too much. We'll see. Just dub that on. And it's not a tight dub here, right? I do want this to act as a little bit like legs, right? So yeah, that's going to be too much. So I don't want a super tight dub on here. So just right behind there. 4 or 5 turns. Then I can kind of hold that stuff back a little bit. I'm going to put a dab of Sally Hansen's on my thread. Now normally, and that just for the sake of tying for a video here, I didn't, but because it is a little bit more time consuming. But normally what I'll do is I will, before I put on the dubbing there, I will coat the body. Let it dry, coat the body, let it dry, and then I'll put the dubbing on. That way it's not in the way, but I mean, just for sake of the video here, obviously I didn't do that this time. So now obviously this is way too long for your gills, so I'll just kind of lift that up at the top of the bead here. Just give that a nip. You just want an ever so little, right? Ever so little hint of a gill. I do tie them with a little bit longer of a gill and a little bit shorter of a gill. Right, this is the one that's definitely on the shorter side. Then any of these really long stragglers, I'll just go in there with my scissors. And you have the really long ones. I want some longer ones, but like even that little one that's kind of sitting down there, that's good. I want that. Okay, so now what I would do, like I said, what I would normally have done is I would have coated it before. I'll just stroke all this forward for now. Where did I put it? Yeah, there it is, my Gulf Thinman resin. And I'll just put a little dab of that right on the top here. Not a ton of it. I definitely don't want too much of it. Where's my little bodkin? There we go. So, And I'll try to put that in on all the way around. Now again, like I said, I would never usually do this way. I normally have them all done up to the dubbing, and then I do like 10 or 12 of them, and then I'll come back and do the dubbing portion. So just hit that with a UV light. I don't know if you guys can't really see. Oh yeah, you can see the difference. You see how that really lights up there. This fluorescent green stuff, this wax thread is amazing. It just glows. So like I said, just give that a coat. Sometimes 2. It's up to you. Even 3. I don't like putting too many coats on, but I'll put at least 1 on, and then I'll do 1 coat of Sally Hansen's for sure. Sometimes I'll do 2. And that is it. That is the finished fly. I'm going to put one little coat of Sally Hansen's on here, just so you guys can see what it'll look like when it's done. Like I said, it shines really well. And like I said, I've done okay with it in the spring. I've done okay with it in probably a little bit better in the fall, but I've done phenomenal mid-season with this thing. Mid-season, this is one of my favorite chironomid patterns to use, right? So that's it. That is the extent of the fly. That is my Limey. Alrighty, hope you guys all enjoyed that. If you did, give her a thumbs up. If you've subscribed, thank you very much for doing so. If you haven't, please consider doing so and smash that notification bell so you don't miss any further videos. Tie lines, everyone.